Can Ella Gibson make it a hat-trick of wins?
And next question, has Ella Gibson gotten inspired by Sarah Lopez 150 just now and maybe thought, I can do that?
On target number 1, representing Ella Gibson. On target number 2, representing Mexico, Dafne Quintero. The legend for this match is Roy Cortez.
Well, Chef, I'm going to throw that question right back at you. Is she going to be inspired by that Lopez 150?
I don't know, but I sure hope so.
Well, it was a cracker. We were just saying while the athletes were being introduced, it wasn't just a great 150, it was an absolutely superb 150 from Sarah Lopez. The grouping in the centre, well, not far off the world record, not quite as far as we know. But now we turn our attention to the gold medal match. Ella Gibson of Great Britain to shoot first.
I think this might be a really good matchup. If I recall Quintero's match just now, she was getting better throughout the match. The second half of the match felt better, at least to watch. And Ella was good throughout the whole match. I think this might be a really good one.
Yeah, you've got to fancy Gibson, like you say, from the way she was shooting in the semi-final. Bethera just got better and better, but Gibson starts with a perfect.
Yeah, just like she did in the semis.
And he's matched by Quintero. I think you may be right, Chef Vandenberg. I think we're on for a match here. Both athletes starting with 30. They've, of course, had some acclimatization to the podium in recent times. They've had their lunch break and they've come back out, had a semi-final that they both won. Now they're both right in the middle of the target. Gibson there looking very relaxed indeed. She's got nothing to lose. She's already won 2 stages. She's qualified for the finals. Surely she'll be thinking, oh, can I get 3 out of 4?
Yeah, and she might be thinking, I have something to prove now that I'm the newly awarded world #1. So there might be some extra pressure there, thinking I am the clear favorite, so I will need to win this match to prove that I'm the favorite.
And you're hinting really at the beginning of potentially a rivalry between Lopez and Gibson that could last a number of years.
Yeah, even though Sarah has been around for quite long, she's only 27, so she could go for I don't know how many years still.
All square in this gold medal match here in Medellin, stage 4 of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. Ella Gibson against Dafne Quintero, and neither of them have missed the middle so far.
What was that you said to me earlier about commentator's curse, Kareem?
It was my turn. Door open for Quintero. And for now, she's capitalized. Did you clip her first arrow there?
I don't think so. I think it was just the vibration of the impact.
So both of them have dropped a point. The first one so far in the match. And both of them are staying level with each other. 59 apiece here in this gold medal match, and both athletes looking really composed and relaxed. Is that because they're both qualified already?
It might be because they're both qualified. It might be because they know they'll get a medal, or at least they're in the final. So if they lose, they will still be on the podium. But they're just also. I feel like in the previous match they were also quite relaxed. So it might just be in their nature, or something they have trained for. That might also be the case. So many possibilities.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation on its own, that, isn't it? That it doesn't matter what your process is as long as it's good and it's consistent.
Yeah, archery is all about consistency. So even if your shot process or your process in general, your mental process, if it's not what it should be, as long as it's consistent, it doesn't have to be textbook. As long as you do the same every time, you'll hit the same spot every time. So that's essentially what archery is all about.
And it's not just the physical process as well, it's the mental process. You'll see some athletes that are very straight, very serious looking. These two, as we've mentioned, tending to try and be relaxed in between ends. Start of the third, nothing between Gibson and Quintero. Gibson to shoot first.
Bit of a different approach in terms of shooting technique by these two archers, where Ella has a bit of a bent arm to allow for more control during the aiming motion. So you can see here she pulls back and then she slightly bends her arms, or her left arm I should say, leans into the shot a bit. It's almost a bit Schlusser-esque, and that just gives you a little bit more control while aiming. Whereas Quintero, she has a straight arm, which is a very strong bone-to-bone connection, so it makes it easier to be relaxed in your shot. But it's difficult to get as precise of an aiming because you're doing everything from the shoulder instead of having your whole arm to your being able to use your whole arm for aiming.
Well, marked as a 9 here, but called as 3-10s for Quintero in the stadium. We didn't quite see that final arrow, so we await that. But if Quintero does get that 9 marked up to a 10, then she will have the lead. Gibson, though, staying quite relaxed. Going back to that aiming and the bent arm, so you're effectively saying that just by bending the arm a tiny little bit, you're changing where the aiming is coming from. It comes from the hand rather than from the shoulder.
Well, if you bend your arm a little bit, you can either bend your arm a little more or stretch your arm a little more, so you have a bit of leeway there. Whereas if you have your arm all the way stretched, then you cannot do that. So you have to do everything from the shoulder. So your arm is basically an extension. So see it as having an extra point to hold a broom handle with, for instance. If you hold a broom handle from the end and want to press a button 2 meters away, it's always going to be more difficult than when you have 2 points of contact in the broom handle. So that's maybe a good way of explaining.
Yeah, good analogy, very good. Even I understood it at my age. Well, we're waiting for this score to come in. We did get a look at it, but with the camera angle, it wasn't. I mean, it probably looked more out than we thought it was. But was it clipping the line? It wasn't, and it has been marked down to a 9. 88 plays 88. Still nothing in this. 6 more hours to go. Ella Gibson of Great Britain will start end number 4.
It just started raining. I was gonna say a little bit, but the fact that I can see the droplets on the camera is probably a sign of it raining quite a lot. So this is something that the archers will have to take into account, because the arrows might hit a little lower because of raindrops hitting, but also some water hitting the string, and therefore the string being a bit heavier. And you can maybe see it at Quintero's group, for her arrows are a bit low.
Well, Gibson's adjusted straight away to it and shot another perfect score. And perhaps a slight over adjustment there for a 27. And look what difference 3 arrows can make. They've been square through the first 3 ends, 9 arrows apiece, and they just both dropped 2 points. But here it's the rain dropping that's caused Dafne Quintero to drop 3 points. Still keeping a smile on her face, but you can now see that rain coming down a lot harder. Do you think it was just as simple as those first 2 arrows were rain affected?
I think it might have been. The first arrow was just too low to hit the 10 ring, so I think I'm speculating here, but I think she might have thought like, oh, that could have been me in any case. And then the second arrow hit even lower, so she was like, oh, then the third arrow might be even lower, so she adjusted, but maybe over adjusted, and therefore hit the last arrow high 9. And I think Ella, being used to rain, I suppose, since she's from Great Britain, was able to adjust immediately. And I don't know if she adjusted with her sight or in her shot, because different people have different approaches. But I think the rain had something to do with 3 9s that Dafne shot.
Well, it's coming down a lot harder now, and that means that it could affect Gibson more in this particular end. End number 5, last 3 arrows. Becerra, perhaps still over adjusting from the 2 lower arrows at the beginning of the 4th, goes high again. 3-point advantage at the beginning of the end. Make that 4 now for Gibson. 2 wins already this season for Ella Gibson from Great Britain. Oh, so solid. So 141 potentially could get marked up for a 142. So a 5 will guarantee the win. It's just in the 9, but it's more than enough. She won in Antalya, she won in Paris, and now Ella Gibson has taken her 3rd of a hat-trick of titles in the 2022 season here in Medellin, Colombia. Gold for Gibson from Great Britain. What a difference a spot of rain makes, Chef van den Berg.
Yeah, I feel like when the rain came down, Dafne was she was chasing her side mark. I don't think she hit a 10 after that, did she? No, so basically dropped right down out of the 10, dropped even lower, tried to adjust, went higher and higher, and then tried to adjust again and went low again. So I would say chasing side marks.